If you're a brand new oil artist and you're just struggling with your art, don't worry. I'm gonna give you some awesome tools here that'll make doing oil art so much easier for you. And the first one is use gray gesso, but don't buy gray gesso. In fact, just make it. You'll get way more use out of white gesso and black gesso on its own. You really just need to make more or less an off-white, which is a light gray. Only put 1 drop of black gesso into your white gesso and then apply it to your canvas that you'll be painting on. Now let that dry, and now when you put your liquid white base on top of that, you can now see if you have too little or too much. And honestly, this is where a lot of brand new painters that do wet on wet struggle. They put entirely way too much, or they miss a spot on their canvas, so when they try to blend colors, it comes out patchy. I know this is you, which is why I want you to start using a very light gray gesso. This step's so important that I still use light gray gesso to this day when I haven't painted in a while. And it's so important that you as a brand new artist should do this because trust me, it will help. Our next tool is highly underutilized, and that's wax paper. Wax paper gives us one awesome thing. It allows us to create a clean resting area for our dirty paintbrushes when we're not using them. Simply just roll out a sheet, clamp it down with some sandwich clamps, some A-clamps, or binder clamps. They all work perfectly. And now you have this nice wide area to rest your dirty paintbrushes. You want a clean area because you don't want your paintbrushes to pick up any dirt, debris, or pet dandruff, or worse, any hardened paints that you might be using that you might introduce either to your mixing palette and or your artwork. You don't want that. The best part about this is when you're all done, you just crinkle it up and throw it away, leaving your painting area and zone perfectly clean when you're all done. Our next tool is Gamblin Solvent-Free Gel. If you're the type of oil artist out there that struggles building layers or getting your paint to stick on top of other layers of wet paint, you need to buy this right here, right now. In fact, just stop watching the video, go down in the video description below and click on the affiliate link, which helps me out by the way, but trust me, you can't go wrong with this. The biggest problem with brand new painters out there is they think that thin paint will stick to a thick paint, which honestly, that is kind of true, but that's not entirely true. A flexible paint is way easier to stick to a non-flexible or firm paint. And Gamblin Solvent-Free Gel is the best at making your oil paint more flexible without ruining the paint integrity. The best part about it is it's solvent-free, which means it's a healthy option for you out there. I highly, highly, highly recommend that you get this product right here. Oh, and I probably should have said in the beginning of this video, all the products mentioned in this video are down in the video description below, and I've actually done in-depth product reviews on most of these products here and show you some key things that you may want to learn or some additional facts that you may want to learn. I'll try to put it at the end of each segment of each product I will recommend here. I'm gonna take a wild shot in the dark here and just safely assume you suck at painting clouds and you suck at making bushes with highlights on them. Am I right? How do I know? I've been there before. You're not alone. As a brand new painter, that can be difficult, but you know what makes that really easy? Using one of these tools right here. These are mop brushes, but I really want to recommend this one right here. This is the Bob Ross foliage brush. And just because of this awesome wide oval bloom and the flexible bristles that it has, it's super easy just to put it in white paint and tap in some clouds. When you clean it off and you tap it into a dark forest green, you can make such beautiful oval shaped bushes that's just easy to form into a natural structure. When you clean it off, use the Gamblin Solvent-Free Gel, put it into a more flexible paint, and then tap on top of that bush. All these bristles lightly bend to make thousands of leaves, needles, and different highlights on top of that bush. I'm telling you, if you really do struggle with making highlights or clouds, get one of these brushes ASAP. It'll change your life. Let's keep it rolling hot with some paintbrush action here. One of my absolute favorite paintbrushes of all time is an angled shader. Due to this angular cut, it makes it feel so comfortable in whatever hand you have, right hand or left hand, for when you have to fade down elements and assets within your painting. One of the hardest elements and assets in landscape painting is mountains. However, due to this angular cut, it's easier to pull down and fade specific details that you may want to enhance or hide. When you wipe it off, it's so easy just to take this little tip here to remove or adjust elements within your painting. I'm not kidding you. An angled shader has changed my life on how I approach paintings. Get one. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Actually, in fact, why don't you just thank me now? Go down below, hit like, subscribe, and leave me a comment on how you too want to get an angled shader. Or if you already have one, let me know how awesome it is. All right, are you ready for my most controversial tool on this list right here? If you can afford it and if you have space for it, I highly, highly recommend that you have 2 sets of brushes that you constantly use. I recommend having 1 set of brushes for light colors, and I recommend having 1 set of brushes for dark colors. The reason this is so clutch for brand new painters is too many painters are unhappy with the vividness in their paintings. And that's because you're using 1 brush and you're not cleaning it well enough. And that means there's cross-contamination going on within the hairs of your paintbrush, which means your vivid colors are gonna become more dull and your dull colors are gonna become more muted and brown, which means you're not gonna have a lot of contrast in your painting. When you have 2 separate paintbrushes, you can keep them separated for light colors and dark colors. It also makes it way easier to go faster within your painting, which means you have less downtime, which means, yeah, you can keep in the groove. The only downside to this particular tool and tip here is, yeah, you gotta spend more money. And I'm sorry for that, but if you are into painting, you might wanna consider it. But if you're still on the fence with painting, just stick with 1 set of brushes and stick with cleaning. Also, with 2 sets of paintbrushes, you do double up on cleaning them at the end, which means you should buy a bigger bottle of Gamblin Sol, which is a little self-promotion to this video right over here. Our next tool is an artist essential, and that is a mixing palette. You wanna go large here. Yes, bigger is better. I see way too many brand new artists work on these itty bitty mixing palettes. You're gonna make it a lot harder for you for 2 key reasons. The larger you go, the easier it is to get an even application on your paintbrush. You can pull the paint down into a tail, you can tap in your paintbrush, you can swish it and swivel it around, getting even applications, which means you're gonna have better results on your canvas. The other reason is when you have a nice large area, you can actually separate out your colors for whichever style you want. You can put your bright colors on one side and your dark colors on another side, and then have this beautiful mixing area. When you separate everything out on a large mixing palette, it helps prevent cross-contamination because you have just so much more space to play with. On smaller mixing palettes, you're gonna cross-contaminate, which means you're gonna have duller colors, and your dull colors are gonna come out more muted and poopy color. Trust me, we don't want that. We've all been there. We're trying to avoid it. I recommend 2. I like this New Wave Posh glass mixing palette. It's perfect for at-home use. And then I like this large Bob Ross style hand-holding one. I think both are awesome. I've done videos on them and I recommend checking them out. Or if you just want to be a baller like me, go ahead and buy both and catch up and stay up with me. Now, if you can't get Gamblin Solvent-Free Gel or you just don't want to buy it just yet, yes, you can make your paints thinner and more flexible using odorless mineral spirits. However, brand new artists make this huge mistake right off the bat. They'll put their mineral spirits in their cleaning bucket, clean a couple brushes, and then when they need that thinner to thin down their paint, they go into the dirty thinner and then introduce it to a color. You don't want that. That dirty thinner has many different pigments in it and it's got particulates, which means once you introduce it to something like a bright color, it's drastically gonna dull it down and you'll really notice it during the drying process. So what do? Well, I highly recommend get yourself a glass container. You don't have to go overkill like me and get a high temp glass container, but I use mine for a multitude of different things like making my own liquid clear. What I recommend is just get yourself a small little glass jar. A baby food glass jar works perfect here. Introduce a little bit of clean thinner. When you need clean thinner, now you have it. I recommend obviously getting a lid, pull the lid off, and then you can use something like an eyedropper or dip down an extra paintbrush and then move it to the side and put a couple of drops down on your mixing palette and then mix that together. This way you have a clean, bright color that will go from the mixing palette onto your final artwork. Essentially what I'm trying to say is don't use dirty thinner, start using clean thinner. Listen to me, if there's one product that I think will change your oil painting career, it's this one right here. Scott shop towels are amazing. They're so good. Yeah, they're paper towels, but they're strong absorbing paper towels. They don't break apart like normal paper towels and they don't leave any residue or lint or pulp behind on your painting. They hold up to tough pressure. Plus, they absorb oil and pigment so much better than anything on the market. You made a mistake on your canvas? That's all right. Wipe it away with a Scott's shop towel. You need to take away some of the excess oil or pigment that's on one of your layers? Hit it with a Scott's shop towel. If you need to start building layers on top of layers and there's just too much paint, lay the Scott's shop towel down there for just a few moments and gingerly pull it off and you'll see all the excess pooling of oil come off and now you can build another layer. These things are so amazing. I am so glad I had them and trust me, you can buy the small rolls, but just go for the big boy box. Trust me, you'll go through them. These things are amazing and they've changed my life as an artist. Most YouTube artists want to get sponsored by high-class art companies. Not me. I want to get sponsored by Scott's Shop Towels. I love them so much, and plus, made in America. One thing I've really noticed since I started doing painting teaching classes and one-on-one lessons is brand new painters really suck at cleaning off their paintbrushes, whether it's between different colors that they're using, or when they switch from different layers, or worse, when they have to clean off their paintbrush with paint thinner or odorless mineral spirits. They just leave that paintbrush way too wet, which is why I highly recommend this tool right here. Get yourself a big old bulk pack of microfiber or any type of towel you can get. I got these particular ones at Costco. For 15 bucks, you get more than 30 towels. I use them all the time to rub off slightly excess color, but more importantly, excess mediums or excess paint thinners and mineral spirits. You want your paintbrush pretty much more or less as dry as it possibly can get. And this is an extra sure way just to take that paintbrush after you've taken it through that paint thinner and wrung it out in different fashions, to just put it in here, wipe it off, tap it in, work off all that thinner, and now you have a clean and dry brush. Getting bulk towels, trust me, will change the way you approach painting. Plus it adds an extra layer of protection. Just make sure you don't throw these in with your normal wash. I don't want you ruining your washing machine over me. Just do like a still wash outside in a tub and hang them dry later if you need to clean them. Wow, that was a lot, but I truly believe these are some of the best tools for brand new artists that'll help you elevate your creative journey and get you to start making progress within your paintings, which is what I want for you. And if you really want to help me out, you can go down below, hit like and subscribe. If you end up buying any of the products, use the links below. Those really do help me out. And if you're a brand new artist that wants to learn how to start selling their art, hey, take a look at my book and help me out a lot, because yeah, I'd love to retire and keep making videos for you. Might be a little selfish, I don't know. Yeah, I do a lot of work for you guys, but I love it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, and of course, peace.